Hello, my name is Vern, and I will be covering the court case Jehovah's Witness in Norway kicked off. Now, a few weeks ago, we covered this. I'm going to cover it again because the results have now come in. This court case has been done, and we're going to take a look at the court transcript. But in case you're not familiar with this, in Norway, there was the Norway government said we do not want to recognize Jehovah's Witnesses as a charitable organization. So the Norwegian Jehovah's Witnesses are in court this Wednesday and Thursday, and they are fighting the government's decision to remove their registration as a religious community. So this article here was the 29th of March. So this is about 4 weeks ago. So we'll cover this off. The case between the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Ministry of Children and Families, Dagen reports. The Oslo District Court is to rule whether the religious community should retain its status as a religious community and the right to seal marriages. The state administrator in Oslo ruled that Jehovah's Witnesses should lose this registration and the right for their exclusion practices. According to the administration, this practice violates the Religious Community Act, as reported earlier by CNE News. The religious community shuns members when they leave the group. That means that family members and friends are forbidden to contact them. The exclusion practice can also be applied to baptized minors if they break the community's rules. The state administrator argued that these practices violate members' freedom of religion and harm children's rights by socially isolating them. In reaction to the ruling of the state administrator, the JWs decided to sue the state, Dagen writes. They requested the district court to postpone the implementation of the administrator's decision so they could retain the right to marry couples as long as the court had not spoken out a verdict. The district court agreed to that. However, if the community loses the ongoing court case, they will immediately lose their registration and the right to seal marriages. So the pressure, the ruling body of the JWs worldwide is the Supreme Council in New York. It consists of 9 members. At the end of last year, one of its members, Anthony Morris, published a video in which he condemned the ruling of the state administrator in Norway and said that the community would not budge on its exclusion practice that they call it disfellowship. It's called in the religion disfellowshipping. In the future, various governments will challenge our freedoms to worship. This is what Anthony Morris said. And they may try to pressure us to change our view of the scriptures, but we certainly won't do that. That's what he said in his video. We covered it along with many others have covered this. In addition, he announced the opening of a new office in Europe that's meant to defend the right to practice the truth. However, in January, Morris resigned as a member of the Supreme Council. The Jehovah's Witnesses have not made the reason for this public. So did he resign or was he kicked out? We all think he was kicked out. So anyways, that's the CNE on this. Norwegian Jehovah's Witnesses in court Wednesday. So what happens if they lose? Well, here's another report. Jehovah's Witnesses, Norway will lose state support. What does that mean, losing state support? You see, in every country around the world, religions, charitable organizations, charitable religions are granted much money. In Canada here, we put out $2.6 billion a year to charitable organizations, and $1 billion goes to the major religions. A lot of money. Every time Jehovah's Witnesses build a kingdom hall, they apply for grants and they get lots of money. In this case, from the country, the province, we call it federal and provincial support. And in this here, they call it the state. So what's going to happen in Norway? Well, Jehovah's Witnesses will not get their grant. The Ministry of Children and Families decided so after. And what does that mean? Well, because of the exclusion practice towards children under 18 and corresponding consequences for children who opt out of the religious community violates children's rights. And that violates children's rights all over the world. Folks, if you're from Canada and you're watching this video, down below in the description, there's a link to a petition that we have here in Canada to shut down the charity status of Jehovah's Witnesses here in Canada because of this very same reasons for discrimination. So now this has to start happening somewhere, and here in Norway, and it's starting to happen all over the world. Now, in January, the state administrator of Norway denied the community of Jehovah's Witness subsidies for 2021, which amounted to 16 million NOK, approximately 1.5 million euros, and that's about 1.6 million USA dollars. The reason for this grant withdrawal was the community's exclusionary practices. So it's all about this exclusionary, this disfellowshipping, and it's done with children. Now, when a member of Jehovah's Witnesses decide to step out or loses his or her faith, the Jehovah's Witnesses socially exclude him or her. And you see, that's what happened to me. I just walked out, and then they publicized to everyone that I'm demonized, so no one will talk to me. And they have many different methods of excluding a person and guilting them. You see, their purpose is to guilt you into coming back. And they think that they're doing God's work by doing this. And we had a video here just recently where we call this spiritual abuse. And all over the world, we're starting to recognize the spiritual abuse that religions are putting upon people. So this is the start of it, folks. People are not tolerating this, and we're not going to be putting out billions of dollars to these organizations that claim to be charity, and they practice these cult-like practices. I think it's going to come to a point where we identify that these are cults right in the court system. Okay, do they measure up? Are they cults? Yeah, they're cults. Okay, no more charity. And I think that's where we've got to get it really smoothly done here, and it's coming. It's coming. So what's happening? Well, they're going to lose their money here. And here just April 26th, that was just yesterday, the Oslo District Court. So we have the transcript right here saying that they lost. So they lost this. They now cannot marry. And I'm going to go all the way down to page 38. It's a 41-page document. And we'll put a link to it here in our video below. So you guys, if you like reading court documents, you can read it. Now, I thought this was interesting on page 38. Where are we? Right here. Witnesses in Norway will be referred to as civil marriage. This is a situation for members of the faith in Germany and France where Jehovah's Witnesses do not have the right to marry. So I didn't know that, but this is starting. It's in Germany, it's in France, now it's in Norway, where Jehovah's Witnesses are not granted the right to marry because of probably their exclusion practice. In this context, through the witness statements, it's also explained that Jehovah's Witnesses will still be able to offer the customary blessings, prayers after a civil marriage. But the legal term significant damage or inconvenience must also be interpreted from the objective legal norm, which is made by the secular court without any religious affiliation. So here it is. They won't be allowed to marry. I think it's good. I know when I came into the religion here in Canada, I was 18, 19, 20. I was 21. I wanted to get married. And I met a lady that was in the religion, second generation, knew the religion. And we couldn't get married in the religion. They wouldn't marry us. We had to go and get married civilly. Why? Even though she was second generation, she tried to get baptized. They said, no, you can't get baptized because we think you're getting baptized just to marry that guy. You see, that's how controlling they are. If you want to get baptized, it's only if they think you're allowed to get baptized. So this lady couldn't get baptized. She tried and tried and tried again. And so we had to go outside and get married civilly. So for me, when I look at this, I think they are reaping what they have sown, just like Jesus has said. They have done this to so many people. They wouldn't marry them inside the religion. They have all these little rules. I was a baptized member. She was second generation. There was no reason. She said, I'll get baptized. They wouldn't baptize her. It's a shame. this religion all over the earth deserves to lose this privilege. So it's happening. And what happened here? Well, let's just look at the very end. They had to pay all the court costs for this whole court fee, this thing, because they lost. And they had to pay $238,000 NOK for all the court work and everything that happened here. So that's the end of it right now. Now, there is other court cases coming up regarding this. And it looks like there might be a couple more dealing with some of the other issues here. And the issues are, I have them here. Let me see here. The verdict is out. Norway registered. Yep. So they'll have to, they lost completely and they're ordered to pay the state $25,000 to cover their expenses. So we have that. And the two court cases where Jehovah's Witnesses have sued the state for removing their state registration still need to be heard later this year. And I think one's actually scheduled here for May coming up really soon. So this is still not done, folks, but we can see the watchtower is falling in this community. So that's about it to report on the Norway event for today. And folks, until next time, keep living your life with love. Thanks again.